Welcome to Continental Explore, where we take you on journeys to places you never imagined existed. Today, we're exploring a side of Canada you probably didn't know about. When most people picture Canada, they think of snow-covered cities, hockey arenas, maple syrup, and polite conversations. But the truth is, Canada is full of places that feel nothing like the Canada you thought you knew. Some will make you feel like you've stepped into Europe, others like you've landed in Asia, or even the desert. So buckle up, because we're about to discover 10 incredible places in Canada that don't feel like Canada at all. 1. Quebec City. If France and North America had a child, it would be this place. Walking through Old Quebec feels more like wandering the medieval streets of Europe than being in Canada. Cobblestone streets twist around stone walls, and the Grand Chateau Frontenac towers over the city like a fairy tale castle. Street performers fill the squares with music and juggling, while cafes serve croissants and pastries that could rival anything in Paris. French isn't just a cultural theme here, it's the way of life. Signs are in French, conversations are in French, and even the pace of life feels different. UNESCO has recognized this as a World Heritage Site, and when you visit, you'll see why. Quebec City feels like a slice of Europe tucked away in North America. 2. Osoyoos in British Columbia. Yes, Canada has a desert. And in Osoyoos, summers are scorching, cacti dot the hills, and the land stretches under skies that seem endless. With temperatures climbing past 40 degrees Celsius, this is the hottest place in the country. Vineyards roll across the valley, producing wines that rival those of Spain or California, and the lakes are warm enough for a long swim on a summer evening. The indigenous heritage of this land is celebrated at the NKMIP Desert Cultural Center, giving the region an added depth of meaning. Stand here under the blazing sun, and it's hard to believe this is still Canada. 3. Fogo Island in Newfoundland. This place feels like you've reached the edge of the earth. The coastline is raw, the Atlantic pounds against rugged cliffs, and little fishing villages cling to the rocks and houses painted every color of the rainbow. At first glance, you might mistake it for Iceland or rural Ireland. The futuristic Fogo Island Inn, perched on stilts over the rocks, looks like something out of a science fiction film. Life here moves at its own rhythm: fishing, storytelling, and traditions passed down through generations. It's remote, unspoiled, and unlike any Canada you've ever imagined. 4. Banff in Alberta. This is where Canada pretends to be Switzerland. The turquoise waters of Lake Louise, framed by glaciers and jagged peaks, are among the most photographed in the world. When you stand here, gazing at that unbelievable color, you could swear you're in the Alps. The town itself feels like a European ski village, with chalet-style lodges, après-ski culture, and restaurants buzzing with visitors from around the world. Hike the alpine trails, soak in hot springs, or sip wine in a mountainside lodge, and you'll understand why Banff feels more like Austria than Alberta. 5. Victoria in British Columbia. Arriving here is like stepping into England without leaving Canada. Double-decker buses glide through the streets, elegant buildings like the Parliament and the Grand Empress Hotel dominate the waterfront, and afternoon tea is an institution. The famous Butchart Gardens bloom like an English countryside fantasy, with flowers sculpted into designs that feel more royal estate than West Coast. Victoria is steeped in colonial charm, but it also blends it with the laid-back vibe of the Pacific. It's a little pocket of England at the edge of the Pacific Ocean. 6. Churchill in Manitoba. Imagine walking through town and seeing a polar bear. In Churchill, that's not a dream, it's reality. During migration season, polar bears actually outnumber people here. This isn't the Canada most people imagine. It feels more like Greenland, or the edge of Siberia. The Arctic landscape is alive with beluga whales in summer, northern lights shimmering in winter, and endless ice floes drifting out to sea. Life in Churchill is about survival, wilderness, and coexistence with nature. It's raw, wild, and unforgettable. 7. Richmond in British Columbia. Just outside Vancouver, Richmond feels more like Hong Kong than Canada. The streets are alive with Asian culture, dim sum restaurants packed with steaming baskets, bubble tea shops on every corner, and night markets buzzing with energy. Chinese signs dominate storefronts, and you hear a blend of languages from Mandarin to Cantonese to Korean. The food scene here is one of the best in North America, with authentic flavors from across Asia. Walk the streets of Richmond and you'll feel like you've stepped across the Pacific. 8. Dawson City in the Yukon. This is the Wild West frozen in time. Wooden boardwalks line the streets, saloons with swinging doors still welcome visitors, and echoes of the gold rush hang in the air. The town embraces its quirky traditions like the infamous sourdough cocktail, a drink that actually contains a preserved human toe. Dawson feels like a movie set of the 1800s, but it's real, and people here live it every day. It's rugged, historic, and feels more like a frontier outpost in Alaska than a Canadian town. 9. Niagara-on-the-Lake in Ontario. Just minutes from the roaring falls, this small town feels like a quiet corner of Europe. Rolling vineyards stretch across the land, horse-drawn carriages clop down streets lined with Victorian houses, and boutique wineries invite you in for tastings. This is Canada's wine country, but its elegance and charm make it feel closer to Tuscany or Bordeaux. Niagara-on-the-Lake is calm, picturesque, and refined, so different from the stereotypical image of Canada. 10. Whistler in British Columbia. Canada's most famous ski resort doesn't feel very Canadian at all. The pedestrian village is designed in a European alpine style, après-ski bars are full of voices from around the world, and the slopes are buzzing with an international crowd. Whistler is cosmopolitan, glitzy, and energetic. It feels more like Switzerland than British Columbia, a playground where cultures from every corner of the globe collide. And there you have it. 10 places in Canada that don't feel like Canada. From French streets and English gardens, to Arctic tundras, deserts, and bustling Asian markets, Canada is so much more than just snow and hockey. It is a world contained within one country, full of surprises waiting to be explored. If you enjoyed this journey, make sure to like, subscribe, and share this video. This is Continental Explore, and we'll see you on the next adventure.